Time to pack back on the pounds. It's more Ed versus food. Spaghettios, the little can of circular pasta produced by the Campbell Soup Corporation. Originally introduced in 1965 under the Franco-American brand, Spaghettios was created by a gentleman by the name of Donald Gorky, whose name I only remember because of his nickname, the Daddy-O of Spaghettios. Spaghettios started out when he and his team were trying to make a brand of pasta with fun and interesting shapes for kids. They tried a couple of different things from what I understand, such as dinosaurs, cowboys, Indians, sports shapes, astronauts, and even the alphabet. But in the end, this simple little circular pasta was what won out. Donald Gorky, over the course of his career at Campbell Soups, would produce over 100 different items, including the chunky brand of soup. Now, when I first saw the recipe for Spaghettios, I knew I had to try it on its name alone. Now, we've tackled pizza before on Ed vs. Food, but when I saw this recipe, I had to give it a shot. And this recipe comes to us from my buddy, DJ, who, actually, now that I think about it, was also responsible for our last pizza creation. What's with DJ and pizza? DJ. His name is Mike. Mikey. Pizza. Here are our ingredients. Of course, the star of the show, as I've already mentioned, is the Spaghettios with meatball pasta. And a pizza, of course, needs pizza dough. I picked this up at a local pizzeria around here because I'm still not yet ready to be making my own pizza dough. So thank you guys for hooking me up. We got our mozzarella cheese over here. We're going to use some extra flour to help roll out the dough. Olive oil to drench the dough, well, not to drench, but to brush onto the dough. And we're going to make ourselves the sausage. Now, I don't actually care that much for sausage, and I didn't want to just buy some of my own. So we're going to use this ground pork to make some of our own. We're going to use about 4 ounces of this. And we're going to season that with salt, pepper, parsley, and we're going to season the whole thing with some fennel seeds. Here are all our ingredients. What do you say we get to work making the magic? It's all done. Now, those of you watching may have caught that at the very last second when I put the pizza in the oven, it pretty much fell apart on me. And that is because I did not flour up the baking sheet enough. So the pizza ended up just sticking to it. And it was a mess to get that thing off. And as you can see, it looks like a mess. But all in all, I think it looks pretty good. And apart from it falling apart at me at the end, because I didn't know well enough to flour up everything. And there you go, learn from Uncle Eddie's mistakes. Always make sure you flour up your equipment properly. It wasn't that hard to make altogether. although the hardest part, making the dough itself, was handled by the people at the local pizzeria. Thank you guys again for hooking me up, I appreciate that. Now I'm looking forward into biting into one of these. So, let's give it a shot, shall we? Alright, that was pretty mild. That was mostly just sauce and dough. Spaghetti sauce from the Spaghettios is a mild kind of sauce. It's not a very strong, very overpowering thing. But honestly, it complements the bread pretty well. Hang on, let me try another bite. Now that one had a lot more of a meatball and sausage flavor. You know what? That was pretty good. The taste of the meatballs probably the strongest out of all of them, followed by the sausage that I had made. Although I had seasoned that pretty mildly. The pasta kind of mixes with the dough, so you don't taste it so much. But again, the sauce is real mild, so it doesn't overpower anything else. Let's grab another bite. Yeah, I'd say about the same. It tastes a lot like Spaghettios itself, which is to be expected. That's the primary ingredient, really. But when you get a nice bite of the sausage and the meatballs, you get a new level of flavor that really just adds to it all. It makes a very satisfying, actually, flavor. Now this slice is just about done. Let me get a part here at the end by the crust. The part that, well, I don't like. I don't know if anybody else likes either. Alright, pretty satisfying crunch there, actually. Not too bad. Of course, you know, when you're eating the crust, you taste mostly the bread. But all in all, this has been pretty good. What I should have done though is grab a napkin. Now, I have some notes here. For the fun of it, I decided I would keep track of all the nutritional value of each one of the ingredients to get an idea of what the nutritional value of the entire pizza was worth. You know what I might do? I might put like a little info up to the corner or something. But the can of Spaghettios, and that's the whole can, mind you, came out to around 420 calories, but 100 of them from fat, 12 grams of total fat, and 5 grams of saturated fat, 40 milligrams of cholesterol, and 1,200 milligrams of sodium, and 1,260 milligrams of potassium, with a total carbohydrates of being about 60 grams. But it did include about 20 grams of protein. And then we have the olive oil. I'm not going to list them all off for you, that's actually kind of boring. The mozzarella, pork, and the pizza dough. Now, I got all this nutritional information from the labels of the individual ingredients. The only exception being the pizza dough, which I had to look up the information for, and maybe I'll put a link to it somewhere around here. But altogether, for the entire pizza pie, we came to 2,290 calories, with 840 of them from fat, 100 grams of total fat, with 38.7 of them being saturated fat, 2.5 grams of polyunsaturated fat, and 10 grams of monounsaturated fat. Cholesterol was at 935 milligrams, with 5.1 grams of sodium and 1.62 grams of potassium, with total carbohydrates being at 212 grams, but 14 grams of fiber, 16 grams of sugar, and 114 grams of protein. Now remember, that is for the entire pie. Now, assuming that nutritional value got evenly distributed amongst all 8 slices, a single slice of Spaghettios Pizza breaks down something like this. 286 calories, with 105 of them being fat, 12.5 grams of total fat, 4.83 grams of saturated fat, 0.3 polyunsaturated fat, 1.25 grams of monounsaturated fat, 116 milligrams of cholesterol, 0.6 grams of sodium, 0.2 grams of potassium. Total carbohydrates came to 25.5 grams, with 1.75 grams of fiber, 2 grams of sugar though, and a nice amount at 14.25 grams of protein. I also have additional vitamin information, but I'll save that for the description itself. But what do I think? I think apart from it falling apart on me at the end, this wasn't too bad to make. And it actually comes out pretty good. It tastes nice, it has a mild flavor. The extra meat really helps to enhance that flavor too. It's more than a little messy to make though, especially when you screw up the way I did. But I say, give this one a shot. It's a nice pizza treat. It gives you an excuse to use those cans of SpaghettiOs that you have lying around. And on top of that, who knows, maybe you and your kids will just have a good time making a silly meal. So, with that said, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.